Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe with our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Husker basketball player Rink Mast has been invited to join the Netherlands national team. The 6'9" forward will be with the national squad for a qualifying tournament in late July into mid-August. Mast currently in Lincoln working out with the Huskers. He's the second Nebraska player to be involved in international competition. Keisei Tominaga currently in Japan working out with that country's team. Turning to Husker women's basketball, Amy Williams picked up a commitment for the 24 class. 6'2" forward Amaya Hargrove gave the Huskers a verbal commitment today. Hargrove is from Illinois, was the player of the year in Class 1A, averaging nearly 25 points per game. Memphis basketball coach Penny Hardaway suspended today for 3 games by the NCAA for recruiting violations. The Huskers played the Tigers this past November in a tournament in Orlando. Afternoon action from the CWS saw the Florida Gators advance to the championship round. They tallied a run in the top of the ninth to edge TCU 3-2. Tonight, Wake Forest can join them with a victory over LSU. If the Tigers prevail, those two teams will play a match tomorrow night. Turning to the big leagues, the Cincinnati Reds have won 11 straight games. They bested the Rockies this afternoon 5-3. Toronto over Miami 6-3. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 7-2. It was the Cubs over the Pirates 8-3. The Tigers 9. The Royals 4. The Diamondbacks bested the Brewers 5-1. The Astros a winner in a slugfest over the Mets 10-8. And it was the Nationals blanking the Cardinals 3-0. The rest of the action under the lights. Our ticker sponsored by the 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for a full night of Sports Nightly coming up here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
3 eligible to the near side. Back to throw is Morgan. Stepping up, gets hit, dropped. Oh, he got drilled at the 18-yard line. Ty Robinson's second sack of the year. I think he took his shoes off with that hit. Simon gets the shotgun snap. Huskers send a corner blitz. Simon steps, throws. Pass intercepted. Picked off by Miles Farmer.
Go,
to
baby.
The 35, to the 30. Tied down to the 27-yard line. Miles Farmer's 4th career INT.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for our Hump Day edition of Sports Audio. Already Wednesday. How about that? Love it. Let's go.
I know those holiday weekends kind of make things seem a lot shorter for the week.
Pretty nice. Hey, have you been following this story about the submarine that's diving below?
So I didn't until last night, and it was on my social media and then on my TikTok, and I was like, what is going on? So then I watched a couple interviews on it. It's a wild story.
Would you do that?
No.
Me neither. I can't imagine crawling into a little thing the size of a minivan and diving 10,000 feet below.
I wouldn't say I'm claustrophobic, but that just does not sound like something I'd be in a comfortable situation. And plus, I don't really care that much about the Titanic, like seeing the wreckage of it, if that's what.
That's where they were going.
So.
And apparently they paid big, these people that are on board paid big money.
Like $255,000?
Yeah, $250,000 to get on the ride. They did this a year ago.
The ride?
Not these same people, but this thing has done this once before. That they've got like, I think 12 hours left of air. I don't think it's looking good. It's sad
and scary, and that's what when we were talking about earlier, just the thought of knowing that your time, there's a ticker on it if you're not found, if they're still out there. I don't know. What's the latest? I know that they were sending search crews out there.
They've been looking. Now, last night, some Canadian ship reported that they were hearing some fairly consistent banging noise, which they thought might be them trying to get a signal out, but nothing new today. And again, the clock is ticking. I just can't even imagine crawling. No, I think I could jump out of a plane. I think
I have before.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
But this going underwater, no, that's not for me at all.
Yeah, it's not something that I would do at all by any means. I mean, I also thought it was crazy. I heard a stat that more people have been to the moon than have been to the depths of the ocean. This depths of the ocean.
Yeah. These stories, I mean, I get hooked. Remember the soccer team that was like, I think it was in Brazil or somewhere down in South America, and they went cave
And they were
exploring,
trapped,
and they
right?
got trapped. Remember that? I think they made a movie out of that since.
I think so.
And they got them out. They had to dive. They had to bring these Navy SEAL divers to go down there because it started to rain. The kids got in the cave. It started to rain. The waters came up. They found an area, a pocket in there that they could at least breathe. And then these divers got to them, and they had to crawl through these tiny spaces to get to them, and they got them all out. That thing ended with a great. I don't think we're going to have a great happy ending for this.
It sounds, again, listening to a few people talk about it that know a lot more about all that than me, just the way that they were talking about how hard it is to try to put a rescue effort in that regards, and just the craziness of having to, what it takes to even get anything down there and how you build something to do it. It's really mind-blowing to me that somebody even thought to, hey, let's test this out. And I did see a video of how it was built, and it's like controlled by a video controller or video game controller.
Right. Mike in the chat room says 13 Lives is the name of the movie about the soccer team, the youth soccer team that went into the cave and then had to keep going back because it was raining, and they were trying to get out of the rain, and it started raining on them, and then they got trapped in the cave. But thank goodness that ended well. I don't know that this is going to end that well, but I've checked about every hour today. I've kind of checked for an update to see if there's any good news. So, have you ever paintballed?
I have.
God, you've done a lot of stuff, Jessica.
Greg, why aren't you living?
Have you paintballed? Dang it, where am I been? Well, the football team, no, not the football team. The seniors on the football team today had a little excursion with some of the coaches. I think that's cool.
That's
I think
really
they
neat.
kind of took the senior group and said, rest of you guys aren't going, we're going to go out and have some fun today.
That's really neat. And that senior group is so important, and to not just this year, but to establishing some of the leaders in that group, to establishing what they're putting in place for years to come. And so, they're going to be an instrumental part and might not have the chance to achieve all the kinds of goals that maybe eventually this team will be set out to do. And not saying that they will go into the season, hey, we're not going to win however many games. They'll always have those goals. But I'm just saying, just with the anytime there's a coaching change and you're implementing new things, you never know how a season could go. And so the fact that they stuck around and stayed here and wanted to help establish what this coaching staff was doing, I think it means a lot to this staff. And they're just going to be really, really important to this whole program moving forward and what this team is going to establish this season.
This means nothing. Like you said, in a lot of ways, this means nothing. Maybe toward the win-loss record, but as Matt Ruhr will say, it means nothing, but it means everything.
Yeah.
How creative this staff has been with activities for their football team that doesn't involve football. And go back to those kind of Olympic games that they did back in, was it late February? They kind of had their own Olympic games, and they were doing all different types of things. I love the creativity. I love the fact of trying to touch the minds of these kids to make them think a little bit differently and on their feet and put them in different situations.
They're doing a lot of things together, and again, with a football team, with any team, but they spend so much time together.
Yeah.
And it's important to build that culture and that close-knitness and the chemistry, but then also you can kind of get sick of each other, right? And so finding different things to do together, they are huge. I'm hoping to do something with this at some point, but they've done a crazy amount of volunteer service and a lot of different kinds of volunteer service. And you might see some of it on social media, but you're not seeing all of it. And so they're very involved in the community. They're doing a lot of different things together. And so really trying to build that camaraderie. And what has Coach Ruhl said? I asked him at the very end of the spring game, all right, what's next? And he said, we've got to become a player-led team and less of a coach-led team. Well, how does that happen? When the players are close-knit and they're leading themselves and they're bonded together in a way that they kind of take over this thing. And how does that happen? It's doing things like this, right, and spending time together and battling through some of the grinds together brings them together.
And they're in a grind right now.
Yeah.
We're a long ways from kickoff, and so they're like going through the conditioning. Yes, they're doing 7-on-7 drills, working out, doing that type of thing. Football teams are so big. They're so different than a basketball team or a volleyball team where you're talking about 10, 15 players. This is 125 or 30, and there's the subsets because you have your position groups. You have your linemen. They hang out together. Your running backs hang out over here. But these kind of events today, a paintball with the seniors, you put them all together. So they are together where a lot of times they're in their own position rooms and their own film rooms, and they're kind of separated into these smaller subsets.
They're very strategic on how they even split the guys up into certain groups. And even when they go eat, they all have to sit down and eat dinner together. And it's like a family meal.
It's not
and they
grab
don't
it and go.
And they don't sit in there from what I recall with my interview with Kristen Coggan. They're split up. They're separated. They're not all just kind of rotating, except for the offensive linemen. Obviously, they rotate. They kind of migrate in a herd. But, I think they do a really good job of separating them, splitting them up so that they're not all together and that's how you really bond a team, for sure. And, by the way, have you ever been hit by a paintball?
I've not played, so
but I didn't know if you've, some people have paintball guns that you've never even been.
You haven't invited me. Cole hasn't invited me.
Well, I haven't played in years, and I don't really want to play because that hurts when you get hit with a paintball. Yeah.
Well, these are big guys. They've hardly feel it.
I had a huge welt on my leg for a long time.
Well, that was cool today. I knew the team was out doing that stuff. A lot of the camps are kind of winding down. It's about break time for the coaches, and boy, do they need it. They have, I don't know if they've stopped, Jessica, since Matt Rule brought them here and they got hired, and some of them came at different times. Some coaches were added a little bit later on. But, they went right into February and winter conditioning, trying to get to know the players. They did these Olympic-type games, then spring football. Then the coaches, as soon as that ended, and after we walked off the field at the end of April, the coaches scattered to go across the country to recruit. Now they've been back here putting on these camps every Friday.
This June has almost been the craziest time, almost been the busiest time since they've been here. I would even argue, because they're doing camps. They've got recruits here almost every single day.
Every day.
And they're doing all other different kinds of things. They're doing the volunteer service. They're doing some workouts. There's so much going on. And, I left the building last night after the show and went and worked in my office for a little bit, 9 o'clock, and that parking lot over there still had a ton of cars still in it. So, they're grinding. They are nonstop. It's not like, we have the camp and then they're off for the week. They're up here, working all the time and getting all the playbooks done but then recruiting and everything that you're having to do to help get a team ready for a season, but then also build for the future is happening right now. But then they'll get to breathe here in about 10 days, 9 days?
The coaches get to walk out and kind of go spend some time with family, maybe go get some things done they've been putting off for months. And some of them are going to get moved. I think a lot of them are probably already settled in Lincoln, but there's some that are still trying to get their family here and get them set up. And again, everybody's been hearing stories about how different this staff is from the previous staff, and that obviously is going to happen anytime you make a coaching change. But I will say this, and again, I don't know what it means, but this group is around each other a lot more than I remember the last couple of summers. The team is, and I'm hearing more and more things that they're doing than I have the last 2 summers.
Yeah, and I even going back to the point we were just talking about, we saw Miles and Quentin together all the time. You didn't see one of them without seeing the other. But I think you're seeing the different kinds of positions split up a little bit. And, and they're all the time up here, and it's fun. I don't know. I said this the other night, I think, when you were talking about they're making it fun with the camps. There's been a ton of the guys that have been working the camps, too. And it's really infectious, I think, with these coaches, and because you could tell they love what they're doing. And the last week when we were out there doing those interviews with the guys, it's a fun group. And not saying last year's group wasn't fun, but there's just this, I think, really a certain level of excitement. I think they are hopeful, and I think they're really enjoying what they're doing, even the not so fun parts. I think they're understanding that it is really going to prepare them for doing things that they want to take that next step in the fall.
We'll hear from Nuri Nouili coming up here in just a little bit. The young man who started 2 years ago, last year was suspended by the NCAA for violating the drug policy. He's, to this day, disputing that he did not do something wrong. And I tend to lean with Nuri because he's not a kind of guy that makes stuff up, but looking forward to hearing him. And I know the coaches are thrilled to have him back in the fold. All right, last night on the program, we talked about how football had added 5 commitments for the class that will sign in December. We mentioned volleyball had gotten some commitments for the 25 class. Well, I had this in the ticker that Amy Williams got a commitment for the 24 class, 6'2" forward Amaya Hargrove from the state of Illinois. Nebraska's gotten in Illinois and gotten a player or two in the last several years with this staff. And I like the fact she's 6'2". I like that.
Yeah, I watched just a few highlights, and she looks like a player that would be able to fit in with a Big Ten. But, I mean, what is it? I guess this women's basketball team, all they do is recruit players of the year, state players of the year.
Another one here, right?
Here's another one. Add it to the list, and another one. But you could tell how excited they were just by the social media reactions that you saw from this staff. And they got a lot of momentum, too. There's so much momentum with a lot of different sports here. It's really exciting to be around and be a part of. But I know that you think about how many players will they lose? Jazz, Izzy and Sam are gone, but then how many will be gone?
I've got to go pull up the roster here.
So it's still a couple years away from really having to have a big class needed to be replaced.
The point guard from Montana State, the transfer, this will be her last year.
Yep.
So her, Jazz, there's at least two. I think there's probably, and I don't think they're at the limit right now. I don't think they're at 15 now. So I think they're under. So I think they've got plenty of room to wiggle, even if they want to go above and beyond that.
With some size, and looks like she's got good touch, and this staff is really excited about her, so we'll learn more. But average 25 points a game, that's not too shabby.
So in the chat room, they were asking about, and we mentioned it briefly last night, Fred Hoiberg had an official visit yesterday on a young guy in the portal from Washington State. He's originally from Senegal. I'm not even going to attempt his name. But he's 7 foot, 6'11", right in that range, a long wingspan. Now, he's skinny, but you can keep putting weight on him. And he was pretty highly thought of coming out of high school. No decision made. He tweeted out something today that he enjoyed his visit, but then hashtag not committed. So he's not yet locked in to the Huskers, but somebody in the chat room was asking if we had an update on that. There's your update. No news, but I think he had a good time when he was here. So keep your fingers crossed.
Maddie Kroll has a COVID year left, but she's listed as a senior, and Annika Stewart is also listed as a senior.
Okay. So there you go. All right, that's coming up, Nuri, in a few minutes. Hour number 2, we've been kind of making our way through the Hall of Fame class. It was announced a couple of weeks ago, and tonight we're going to talk to one of the Husker soccer greats, as Brittany Timko will be here. Brittany was a Canadian, in fact, went on to play for Canada's World Cup team, got 4th place in her last World Cup. Looking forward to talking to Brittany about her Husker days. She will be enshrined this fall into the Cornhusker Hall of Fame. And as always, we want you to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400, the number to be part of our little chit-chat session here tonight. That is our Sports Nightly Hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime, they've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. We're back to hear from Nuri. We'll do that next.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. That's why we make trucks like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight and counting. Made for performance and capability. Made to play hard and work smart, on and off-road. That's because they're built Ford tough. So be future ready with Ford F-Series, based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm sports media student Connor Clark with Campus News. More than $145 million in gross revenue has been generated by startup companies, founded by alumni of UNL's Angler Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program, since the program began in 2010. With over 230 Angler Program alumni growing businesses across Nebraska, the Angler Program is making a big impact on the lives of students, alumni, and Nebraskans.
For a delicious dinner on the go that will please the whole family, get Hai Chai at Hy-Vee. Right now, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22 during the month of June. Get 4 one-pint entrees, 2 pints of rice or lo mein, and 8 egg rolls or crab rangoon. That's right, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22, now through the end of June. Dine in or carry out the crowd-pleasing, award-winning Hy-Vee Chinese today. Some restrictions may apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a very big mistake. Hey, Joe, you think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have your underground utilities marked before you start digging?
John, that's just for big projects.
Actually, it's for any digging project. Hey, congratulations, Joe. You found your electric line. Remember, safe digging always begins with a free call to 811. You want to borrow my phone, buddy?
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Woodhouse Mazda is bringing you all new vehicles like the first ever Mazda CX-90 that just hit our lots at 144th and Giles at Woodhouse Place Mazda or off Highway 75 in Bellevue at Woodhouse Mazda. Experience 3 rows of comfort, making every drive more inspiring. Right now, get 3.9% APR for 36 months or 4.9% for 60 months on a 2024 Mazda CX-90. Visit us today to experience car buying on your terms. This is Woodhouse Mazda. With approved credit, tax, title, license, extra, when financed with Mazda Financial. Offer expires 6/30/2023. See dealer for complete details.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sap Brothers. For over 50 years, Sap Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
Since 1993, Dakota Mac has offered fixed long-term ag real estate loans perfect for any stage of life. The rebellious 15-year loan, the here for laundry 20-year loan, and the 30-year loan who thinks they can tell you a thing or two about parenting. Whatever your needs, trust Dakota Mac with your legacy.
Hi, it's Nick Reno from Dakota Mac. Please call me at 308-380-7564 to learn all about our competitive rates on ag real estate loans.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Nouredin Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Nouredin Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit nouredincompanies.com. Go Big Red. We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Sports Honda here on a Wednesday night. Hope you had a great day today. Terrific College World Series game this afternoon. The Florida Gators into the championship round. They beat the Horned Frogs of TCU 3-2. Really good game, as have most of the games been at the College World Series. They're underway tonight. No score in bottom of the first. Wake and LSU. LSU needs to beat them tonight and beat them again tomorrow night. So Wake's in the catbird seat to try to get in there opposite of the Florida Gators. Nuri Nouili, who is the offensive lineman who prepped at Norris High School just south of Lincoln, but grew up in Germany, didn't play much football until he got to high school here in the United States and has turned himself into a heck of a football player for the Cornhuskers. Did have to miss last year because of a NCAA violation, but now back and ready. Went through spring ball with the Huskers, and Jessica recently had a chance to sit down with Nuri.
How do you feel going into this fall? I know we didn't get a chance to talk to you in the spring about everything that you went through, and then being able to go back and get back on the field in the spring. How do you feel about where you are now going into this fall camp?
I'm excited. I mean, we have a lot of talent, and us as a brotherhood, we've done a great job being together at all times, and being one unit, seeing through one set of eyes. And I'm really, really excited for this year.
What did you learn about yourself throughout last year?
I try to be the best teammate I could be, but you know, having my brothers around me at all times, you know, was really, really nice. They kept me, you know, sane. They kept me as part of the group, and that helped out a lot.
You know, I've said that a lot throughout this last year about how engaged you were with your teammates. You were trying to coach guys up on the sideline. I saw you doing a lot of that, trying to keep guys up when things weren't going right. How important was that for you throughout that whole last year to stay engaged with your teammates?
Oh, insanely important. I mean, you know, the away games were really hard because I couldn't be around. But the home games, the practices, it kept me, you know, be a part of it. It kept me, like, there. And I'm not going to lie, if I wasn't there, I don't think it would have went well. You know, this is my life. This is what I want to do. And, you know, the University of Nebraska gave me everything I need to succeed. And this is what I want to do. You know, it's like being around the team has helped a lot.
What did you learn about the game? Because I always hear that a lot from athletes, that when they have to sit out for a year, they have to see the game from a different perspective. Did you learn the game in a different way last year?
I did. I saw it a little bit more from a coach's perspective, and I learned a lot about the defense more. But, you know, having Coach Rella next to me and, like, being able to see him, like, from a different perspective a little bit, because I wasn't out there while he was on the sideline. I was kind of next to him and, like, helped him out too. You know, seeing his side from the coach's point of view was really, really nice, and, like, gave me a little more perspective on the whole thing.
I know you would have given anything to be out there, but the way that those guys up front fought throughout the entire season, and then the way that they were able to get some things going there at the end of the year and play really well at the end. What was your perspective on that, and what did you see in that, in terms of that and the growth that the line was able to have throughout last season?
I mean, the line got better and better, I thought, and throughout the year, you know, there was hardships, there was hard times, people getting hurt, you know, so, like, I think as a group, they got better and better, and we all bonded more and more, just because, you know, it was a hard year, and that Iowa win definitely was a big thing for us.
So then you come back, you guys had a couple additions, but then with everybody coming back pretty much from that line, other than Trent Hickson, how ready were you guys to hit the ground running in spring with Coach Raiola?
I mean, almost immediately. We were ready. I mean, I knew Coach Raiola from last spring. Everybody knew Coach Raiola except Ben and Gunner, but they were immediately a part of it, and they has helped out. Oh, and Jacob too, but they have helped out immediately, and, like, we all bonded really well because we weren't many. So there was a lot of reps, a lot of repetitions, and I thought we did really well as a group together.
Talk to us about the difference between when you're going through, especially with an offensive line coach and position coaches, and you have a change there, how big it is, the step that you make with a coach from year one to year two with the offensive line. Because Jeremiah talks about that all the time, how hard it is to change position coaches at the line.
It is hard, yes, because a lot of people coach a different technique, but it also shows you how coachable you are, because if you can get that technique down quickly, you can succeed at the level that your coach wants you to. And, you know, we all set a standard for ourselves, and the coaches have their standard, but, like, our standard is higher than that. And so we need to, we do try to be as coachable as possible and do as much as possible that, like, our coach wants us to do. And if we're not, you know, we're being held accountable for it, and, like, we're also all keep each other accountable if we're not doing the right thing. So, yeah, it is a hard thing to do, but at the end of the day, you got to do it, you know.
But that technique, going through it now with another year with Coach Raiola, it gets easier, and you get more understanding of what his expectations are, right?
I mean, 100%. Yeah. It's so much easier now than it was, you know, last December or last January when we just started coming into it, and, like, Coach Raiola just got here, and, like, we had to set a new standard. You know, the brotherhood came from him, and he put it into us, he put it in our hands, and we've just kind of ran with it since. So it's definitely a nice thing to have.
It's pretty crazy because, I mean, you hear Coach Rule talking about any other position group that we bring in and ask about you guys. It's like you move as a unit, you're always together. And has that been something that you guys have just made a really big effort to do?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, even the new guys now, they know you don't leave without anybody else. You know, like,
you move in a pack.
Exactly. We're one big herd. But yeah, no, we're one big brotherhood, and you know, we'll do everything for each other. So
what does that do, though? How does that translate to what you do on the field?
In a really big way. I mean, the O-line has to be perfect at all 5 positions at the same time. And if you can't trust the guy next to you, you can't play. And especially at the O-line position, if one guy messes up, the whole line messes up. And so it makes things a lot easier if you're really tight-knit. And it doesn't matter who comes in, you know, even if it's a new guy that has just came here, he learns it quickly, you know, and like they have brought it with them too, because they knew from the beginning on they have to be a part of it. And, you know, standing next to some of the new guys, you know, they're learning the technique and they're frustrated sometimes. But, like, they know, too. Like, we tell them, too, like, hey, we were at the same point a year ago. You know, it takes some time, yes. But, you know, the brotherhood keeps each other accountable and keeps each other, like, sane to the point where it doesn't matter what technique or what play is in front of us, we'll conquer it.
Being that you guys have so many guys that play together so much and older guys at that, older guys in the locker room, how much pride are you guys taking in being the leaders of this whole football team?
Oh, the trenches have to be the leaders of any team. You know, we put that big on us because the O-line, D-line are big groups, usually some of the biggest groups, and I mean, we're also the biggest people too, so like kind of we have that accountability that we have to give to other people, but we try to be as accountable as possible to everybody on the team, not just us, but like between us, it's like everybody knows what they need to do, and if it's not there, then people will tell them.
So going through spring, on the other side of the ball, defense, who was the biggest pest for you to block? Who was the most challenged? Who was the hardest?
The D-line in general, we have some dogs out there. You know, you have Nash, Ty, Cam Leonard, Prince Will, Kai Wallen. You know, they all are beasts, and I'm missing a couple people, but they're all beasts to play against, and I can't wait to see them in action.
But specifically those 2 freshmen that you just mentioned, Prince Will and Cam, what were they like throughout the spring?
They were great players. I mean, you saw in the spring game, you know, they were good players, but it wasn't that they're just, you know, outstanding compared to anybody else. The whole D-line was phenomenal. And Coach White's defense is a hard defense to play against. It's a very hard defense to play against, and we play against them every day, so it's a hard defense to play against.
And then the talent and depth in the running back room. I know a couple of changes there, but the guys that you guys have, how excited are you guys to block for them?
I'm so excited. I mean, Ramir, Gabe, AG, you know, some of the new guys too, Emmett. You know, they're all people that like we can trust because they know they're learning, they know what to do, and Coach EJ is, I mean, a great coach too. It's like they know what to do, and they know that we can block for them, and they know that we will block for them. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
What's your take on the fullback coming back?
I'm happy. I'm happy. The fullback is a position that like Nebraska has had in tradition, and they were very successful with it. So I'm very excited to bring it back.
It's a big, kind of an extension of the O-line a lot of times, right?
Oh, 100%. The fullback is an extra lineman. I mean, it is usually a bigger running back too, so or you know, a tight end or something like that. But at the end of the day, you know, having another person that wants to just kill somebody is something that we love, you know.
Overall, just you and this group, the O-line group, how have you gone about making sure that you know everything that you need to know about this new playbook with Satterfield?
We try to every day. I mean, we talk about football in the locker room. We talk about it when we're outside of the stadium. It's something that we learn every day, and like keep learning too, because there's always new plays that are in it too. So we learn every day.
Just a couple more for you. What is it like going into it? What's your perspective? Have you been thinking about it that you're a senior, this is it for you, and this is your last time doing all of this kind of stuff?
It's crazy. I mean, I just went through my last spring. It's insane to think about. You know, it feels like I just came here. You know, I just transferred here. It's a little hard too, because like, you know, I'm graduating in December too. It's definitely you know, the memories kind of come back from the past years, and even my time at CSU, you know, the memories come back, and like kind of think about a lot of things. It makes you like really enjoy the things that you have in front of you, and I'm really excited for this year.
I want to leave it all out there, right, in this final time.
Hell yeah.
Last thing, just what's the goal for this offensive line this summer before you hit the ground running for fall camp?
Just, you know, get bigger, get faster, get stronger, be the best that we can be, and, you know, be the best teammates that we can be. That's just being the best teammates and like being able to show them that, you know, they can trust us too.
Nuri, as always, great stuff. There's a reason why you're one of the best interviews on the team, so appreciate your
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I remember the first time I talked to him when he made his first start, and I texted you like, Oh, my goodness. Nuri was a fantastic interview. So many offensive linemen. I have this theory. A lot of offensive linemen are the best interviews. They just know so much. You hear a lot of the things he says. You also, if you listen to the Sideline Slice, you'll hear one of our good friends say often with Jeremiah. So there's some certain things that I think the offensive linemen all, it's a code that they all go by, that they all will portray sometimes in interviews.
I'm convinced there's some class they all attend. You must talk like this. You must use these phrases. Memorize these.
You must travel in packs.
He's awesome.
You must be good at interviews.
I could listen to him every night, I think.
I know, he's great. I think he'd be a great person to be on radio and get involved in this type of stuff once his football career is done.
I wonder if he's thought about that.
Probably.
If people were watching on our YouTube stream, he's got big arms.
He's huge. The whole O-line is huge. I'm not sure kind of what the plan is. I'd like to maybe hopefully at some point sit down with Corey Campbell and what's the plan for the offensive linemen this summer, because I know some of them trimmed up a little bit in the spring. And so at the beginning of the interview, I had a mic issue, so I had to cut this part out. But I asked him, I was like, did you put on weight? And he goes, I did, but it's because I was eating a bunch when I traveled. But he's trying to trim down a little bit, I think. So I'm not sure what playing weight they want these offensive linemen to carry come the fall. And
seeing a couple of the early commits, they're not getting the 6'7", 6'8" guys as much. They're getting more 6'3", which Nuri's not 6'5". He's probably 6'3", 6'4", right?
Yeah, and I was actually going to say that as big, people were talking about how big he looks. He's not even near close to when Bryce Benhart walked up.
And Benhart is and Teddy, those are guys that are 6'8", 6'9", but I feel like this staff wants more kind of squatty guys, more like Nuri, that body type. Ethan Piper's not an overly tall guy, but he's thick too.
Yeah.
And then the couple guys that have committed in this class, if you go look, they're not that 6'8", 6'9" guys, which the previous staff kind of wanted those taller guys on the outsides, but maybe a little bit different philosophy here.
Yeah, and we'll see it too with some of these taller guys, but I remember that, gosh, I can't remember which team we were on, but I went on a show and the analyst, I guess it was Oklahoma, when I went back on with their color analyst, Teddy Lehman, who's their color guy and played linebacker for them on the national championship team. He said, I think your offensive linemen are too tall. So I think some people probably think that, and that there's a certain height that maybe is a little too tall for offensive linemen, but Teddy's highly touted though, and I know they're excited about him too.
Teddy and Bryce are really, really big tackles on the outside. Good interview. Love listening to Nuri, and there was some really good stuff.
Ben Scott is 6'5". Teddy 6'10". Nuri is 6'4".
Yeah, and I would think
Turner is 6'6". To me, like 6'6".
That's fine.
Yeah.
And Ethan Piper's probably 6'3" to 6'4".
Jacob Hood 6'8". Gunner Gatula 6'5". Brock 6'7".
Knudsen, yep.
Sam Sledge 6'3". Machachek, who is he going to be offensive or defensive lineman?
I think they're fighting.
He's 6'3".
I think there's a battle over him, whether he's going to go offense or defense. I think he may end up on the defensive line moving forward.
Ethan Piper 6'2".
So he might be the shortest guy.
Yeah, it looks like
on that group up, but they love him.
Yeah.
Boy, every time you hear stuff coming out of there, it's usually he's the guy they like. All right, what'd you hear, folks? 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. Our Sports Nightly hotline. It's brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for at Woodhouse. Back with more of the show coming up.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sap Brothers. For over 50 years, Sap Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Nouredin Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Nouredin Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit nouredincompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the Trail-Tamin 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corbin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Insider Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. You want to be a part of the program. Phone lines, text lines open for you at 402-413-2400. Art in L.A. Greg, is there a new rule in college football this year? The clock running after first downs, question mark. Can you talk about this? That is correct. that, like the NFL, they will not stop the clock after a first down to spot the ball and move the chains until the last couple of minutes of the game. Then they will go back and stop the clock after a first down is made. It's been one of the big differences in college football. And you know, I think we had Trev Alberts on, one of his last shows of the year, and has some influence on the rules committee. And he said it's really more of a safety issue. He's like, we've gotten to the point in college football where we're running 135, 140 plays a game, he said. So that's a lot more beating on the body. It's more wear and tear on kids because there are more snaps in a game that they want to try to shave off 10 or 12 plays per game. You're already asking these guys to play 12 games. If you make the playoff, you're playing 14, 15 games. You make the conference championship game. This doesn't bother me that much, particularly if you're going to go back to the old rules late in games.
So you still have a timeout, or they'll stop it when, under 2 minutes?
In the last 4 minutes, I think, of the game is they're going to stop.
If you get a first down,
they'll stop it until you snap the ball.
Well, that's when it's most important.
True.
Not at the end of the half, though, right?
Not
just
at the end.
of the game.
I think it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And so, and crypto's it's just like the NFL. Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but
except they don't stop it at all, ever, right?
They do, I think, the last 2 minutes.
Okay.
For the 2 minutes for the NFL. So, I don't know. Everybody's using, and Nebraska's going to huddle. But so many teams have gone to the spread and the hurry-up offense that they're just not. There's no time that's wasted for this. So I don't know. People after week 1 or 2 may really be complaining about this and say, go back to the old way. But I think this is fine. Man, some of these games, Jessica, were like 3 hours and 45 minutes, going up on 4 hours for a regulation game that didn't even go to overtime. That's a long time for a football game.
So far, nobody's complained on some of the tweaks that they've made to shorten games, right? Baseball.
Certainly the sports of baseball, yeah. The clock has been a great thing. But I don't know. People love college football so much they don't want, I'll sit through more plays. But again, I think it goes back to athlete safety. You're trying to, if you can shave off 10 to 12 snaps a game over 12 games, that's 100 snaps you're saving on guys popping into each other.
To me, it doesn't change that much, especially since you're still going to have that opportunity at the end of games to be able to stop that clock once you get a first down. But to me, it doesn't really. How big of a difference is that going to make? And other than shortened game, but how much does that often? Is that going to change the trajectory of a game if you stop the clock or don't stop the clock for first downs?
I'm with you. But folks may have a different thing. We'll see how it ends up going. All right, need to take a final break. Buckle up. Put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Art, appreciate the question. Back to wrap up hour 1 next.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student-athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student-athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Discover the meticulously crafted and effortlessly iconic 2023 Cadillac lineup at Woodhouse Cadillac. Receive up to $1,500 off MSRP and 2.9% APR for 36 months on the 2023 Cadillac XT5 or XT6. Visit us in store at our newest location at 112th and Dodge in Omaha or online anytime at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, must finance with GM Financial. $299.fee due at signing. Offer expires 6/30/2023. See dealer for details.
Husker fans, mark your calendar for Sunday morning, July 16th to join the Nebraska football team in the Race for a Cure Against Pediatric Brain Cancer. It's the 11th annual Nebraska Football Road Race. This year, all runners start and finish on Tom Osborne Field in Memorial Stadium. The final 69 yards will recreate the iconic 2013 ESPY Play of the Year when brain cancer patient Jack Hoffman scored a touchdown in the spring game. To register, go to huskers.com/road race. Sponsored by the Home Agency with support from the Lincoln Track Club.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. That's why we make trucks like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight and counting. Made for performance and capability, Made to play hard and work smart, on and off-road. That's because they're built Ford tough. So be future ready with Ford F-Series, based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
That's my neighbor Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a big mistake. Hey, Joe, think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have the utilities marked before you start digging?
I'm not digging very deep. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Dad, the TV's out. Internet, too.
Remember, safe digging always starts with a free call to 811. Oh, what a knucklehead.
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Folks, you still have time to be a part of the football season and part of the 100th anniversary Memorial Stadium by purchasing a Through These Gates mini plan. It's a 3-game ticket package. Gets you tickets to both non-conference games, Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech, and then you get to pick the conference game, whether it's Michigan, Northwestern, Purdue, Maryland, or Iowa. It's $100. Seats are going to be in the north and south end zones. You can do this online, huskers.com/tickets. Call the ticket office at 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Or you can stop by the ticket office located just across the street on the west side of Memorial Stadium. Through These Gates mini plan. I do need to correct myself on the running clock. The last 2 minutes of each half is when they're going to go back to the old rules, stop it after a first down, and then go from there. Also, another quick rule for college football. In the past, at the end of the first and third quarters, if the quarter and the clock hit zeros and there was a penalty on the defense, then they would have an untimed down. This happens pretty rarely, but it's happened from time to time. They're doing away with that. They'll just go on to the next quarter and then have that first snap of the next quarter be the play that was a result of the penalty. So no untimed downs at the end of the first and third. Obviously, at the end of the half, at the end of the game, you got to do it there. And 2 minutes first half, 2 minutes second half, the rules go back to the old way of stopping the clock after a made first down. So I just don't think people are going to notice it that much when they get watching games starting here in a couple of months. I told you earlier, I said, we got about 3 or 4 more days of the College World Series, and then we hit the abyss. We hit the sports abyss of the year where, yeah, you got a few golf tournaments kind of sprinkled in there. You got Major League Baseball. We will have, Andrew would be proud of us for saying this, the Women's World Cup starts at the end of July, but it's kind of the desert for sports fans until football gets cranked up in August with preseason games.
I do feel like the news, though, and the craziness has gone a little bit longer this year with some of the transfer portal additions and the other things that have been going on. I feel like it's not as lulling as it has been.
Been kind of fun this month.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening here. All right, 1 hour in the books. Coming up next hour, Brittany Timko was a great Husker soccer, 3-time Big 12 Player of the Year in soccer. Terrific Husker. Played on the Canadian national team, played in 2 World Cups. She won a Golden Boot. I gotta hear about this Golden Boot. We're going to talk to her coming up next hour of the program, and still want you to be a part of it as well with calls or texts. Going to step aside for our top of the hour break and come back and get hour number 2 going. 2-1 up in Omaha. Wake Forest leads after 2 innings over LSU. If the Demon Deacons win tonight, it's Florida and Wake for the college baseball championship. So 1 hour down. Good one. Come back for hour 2 next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Experience luxury car buying like never before when you shop at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Our friendly sales team is here to help you every step of the way, from finding the perfect Genesis model to securing financing that works for you. Right now, lease the thrilling 2023 Genesis G90 3.5T all-wheel drive for $1,279 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles a year. With approved credit, tax, title, and license extra, $6,999 cash or trade down. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Security deposit waived. Acquisition fee included. Stock number GG230117. See dealer for details. Offer expires 6/30/23.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
SOS to the rescue! SOS to the rescue!
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue! SOS! SOS!
That's my neighbor Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a big mistake. Hey, Joe, think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have the utilities marked before you start digging?
I'm not digging very deep. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Dad, the TV's out. Internet too.
Remember, safe digging always starts with a free call to 811. Oh, what a knucklehead.
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker tonight brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Husker basketball player Rink Mast has been invited to join the Netherlands national team. The 6'9" forward will be with that team for a qualifying tournament in late July. Mast currently in Lincoln working out with the Huskers. He's the second Husker basketball player to be involved in international competition this summer, as Casey Tominaga currently in Japan working out with that country's team. Husker women's basketball picked up a commitment for the 24 class. 6'2" forward Amaya Hargrove gave the Huskers a verbal today. Hargrove is from Illinois, was the player of the year in Class 1A, averaging nearly 25 points per game. Memphis basketball coach Penny Hardaway suspended today for 3 games by the NCAA for recruiting violations. The Huskers played Hardaway's Tigers this past November down in Orlando. Afternoon action from the College World Series. The Florida Gators and into the championship round. They beat TCU 3-2, scoring a run in the top of the ninth to break the 2-all tie. Tonight, Wake Forest trying to join them in that championship round. They lead LSU 2-1 at the bottom of the third. If they lose tonight, they'll have to play the Tigers again tomorrow night. Turning to the big leagues, the Cincinnati Reds have won 11 straight games, their longest win streak in 66 years for the Redlegs. They beat they got a win this afternoon of the Rockies 5-3. It was the Blue Jays over the Marlins 6-3. The Rays beat the Orioles 7-2. The Tigers dumped the Royals 9-4. The Diamondbacks 5-1 winners in their game over the Brewers. The Astros 10, Mets 8. Cardinals get shut out by the Nationals 3-0 in their game. Just underway, the Braves and Phillies no score. We got a rain delay situation in that one. It's 2-1. Athletics leading the Guardians in the third inning. Our sports ticker sponsored by the 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, straight ahead.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
3 eligible to the near side. Back to throw is Morgan. Stepping up, gets hit, dropped. Oh, he got drilled at the 18-yard line. Ty Robinson's second sack of the year. I think he took his shoes off with that hit. Simon gets the shotgun snap. Huskers send a corner blitz. Simon steps, throws. Pass intercepted. Picked off by Miles Farmer.
Go,
to
baby.
The 35, to the 30. Rook tied down to the 27-yard line. Miles Farmer's 4th career INT.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are, back hour number 2 of Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. I hope you had a great day today. Watching some College World Series. 2-1 Wake leads in the third over LSU. I really don't want, maybe you do, but I don't want an all-SEC final.
You said maybe I do? Of course you would go there again. No, I absolutely do not. Do not want that. And I don't want you to be right, but I'm going to have to go with Wake Forest. So I'm going to have to root for Wake Forest.
I want Wake Forest, too.
I know you picked them, right?
No, I picked Virginia.
Oh, I thought you picked Wake.
Picked Virginia. Wake's the number 1 team, so they're the number 1 overall seed. Florida's the number overall 2. How about that? If it ends up being 1 versus 2.
When's the last time that happened?
I don't know.
I just, for some reason, thought you picked Wake.
That would be wow. That would be interesting if that happens. Hey, tomorrow night at this time, we're going to have the draft. The NBA draft's tomorrow night. I think it starts at like 6:30. So we'll be kind of following some picks going on. The big guy from France is going to be the number 1 pick by the Spurs. There's some debate on who the number 2 pick's going to be. Brandon Miller from Alabama looks like a guy that could be the number 2 pick overall. Scoot Henderson. You may not have heard that name. Scoot didn't go to college. He went to the G League out of high school. We're seeing people do that now. They can get paid going there. They just skipped the college thing for a year, but Scoot, it's a great name. Scoot Henderson.
I like that. Yeah, the G League has done, has leaps and bounds improvements from where it was. And for a lot of times back maybe 10 years ago, if you went to, at the time it was the D League, right? And there weren't a lot of people that went there and went up. It wasn't necessarily a developmental league as much as it is now, and so they've just kind of revamped it a little bit. And you can guys like Bryce McGowan's, who initially signed a 2-way deal, and then he just signed a much larger deal, right? And so but initially signed a 2-way deal, and you can go there and get better, develop, get a feel for what the game is like, and then move on up. And it's not as much of, oh, you're going to the G League. That's not as much of a bad thing anymore. You can absolutely go there and then develop and get a bigger deal with the big league team, the NBA team.
You're a big fan of the Thunder. Isn't this about the time they start getting a bunch of picks?
Right. Well, they have so many. I think now's the time they start trying to see what they can package up to maybe see if they can move up in the draft, or next year's draft is going to be really good, right? I think is what the consensus is. And so thinking maybe they could probably get they have a crazy amount of picks for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at when's their first one this year.
I think they traded away.
They've got the 12th pick.
I'm trying to look at the.
But I don't think that. I think that's their only first-round pick is the 12th pick.
The ones that they have, they've got protected picks starting next year.
Gotcha.
So this year's not as big of a draft for them, which they've got a lot of young players right now already. But I think next year is when things start getting interesting for the Thunder.
So the number 1 overall pick goes to the Spurs. They were lucky. We were on the air the night that they did the.
And you said it.
The lottery. The Spurs are going to get this.
Just get those
lucky
breaks.
They got David Robinson that way. They got Tim Duncan that way. And now they're going to get this big Parisian who's going to come over here and people say is the best player to enter the draft ever. I'm not sure I'd go with that, but I need to see that for myself. But they have the 1. Charlotte has the 2. I guess Michael Jordan's selling the team. He's not been a very successful owner of the Hornets, so he's getting out. Portland's got the 3. That'll be interesting to see what they do. And the Rockets have the 4 pick. So those are your top 4. And, again, that will be going tomorrow night. We'll be tracking that. Derek Walker, we mentioned this last on the program, not going to get drafted, but he's getting some workouts with some NBA teams that want to see what he can do. I could see Derek Walker making a team, being on a bench, because he's a big guy that rebounds okay, great passer. Those kind of guys the NBA kind of likes. They like those big men that can pass.
And being a guy that maybe goes up and down in the G League a little bit and provides some help when a team needs it. But I mean, look at a guy like Austin Reeves, did not get drafted, and then he was a huge part of the Lakers and now is about to get paid. I mean, you just have to find the right fit. And I think there is absolutely a fit for a guy like Derek Walker. He just needs to find it and keep doing what he's doing. But those kinds of players are really can find a niche in the NBA for all the different things that he can do. And his offensive game grew a lot last year. So I think absolutely he could find a spot, and hopefully it's the right spot, and then he can go play a few good years there in the NBA.
Jessica, one of my favorite people in all of college sports is Bill Hancock. Bill, I know Bill from his days in the Big 8 Conference. He's been the college football playoff executive director, I think, since the playoff got formed. He's announced he's going to retire in about a year and a half. He's 72 years old, tremendous man. And I know that's about the time the playoff's going to expand from 4 to 12, and he's probably like, that's a good time for me to step away. He's such a gem. His son was one of those gentlemen on that plane that crashed with Oklahoma State's basketball team 20-some years ago, and I knew Will, his son, really well. He was a great guy as well. So I want to congratulate Bill Hancock. Good time to step away. It's going to go from 4 to 12. Let somebody else deal with those headaches.
So here's a fun fact from Hobart, Oklahoma. And
did not know he's from that town.
Hobart is probably maybe 12 minutes from where my parents live.
Is that right?
Yep. So Hobart and Sentinel are really, really close. And so if my parents need to go get something from like a grocery store,
they go there.
They go to Hobart. So, yeah, he's such a nice human being. I cannot wait to see who's going to step into that role.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you think a guy like Swanky or...
I don't think the commissioners will take it.
Sankey. You don't think so?
No. I think it'll be somebody that's kind of maybe been an old AD someplace.
Okay.
Maybe it's a former player. Who do you want?
I also wouldn't be surprised to see somebody like Joe Castiglione.
Huh, maybe he would be one that.
Because maybe he's done a lot as an AD and maybe looking for a new challenge. Maybe an AD like that has done a lot in that role and then looking for the next new step and what he could do next. I don't know.
It's a good name. That's an interesting name to throw out there. He would be good. He would be really good at that. He sure would. So now they've got time to go look for Bill's replacement to run the next phase of college football. And again, I think it's a perfect time. That'll be the end of the 14 playoff. We'll be going to the 12-team version at that point in time. And I was against the playoff for a long time. I'm kind of excited about the 12-team version. I think it's going to be kind of cool.
I really am. It's maybe that's something that's going to need to keep happening because we were all begging and thought that it needed that a 4-team playoff, but now we're getting to the point now where it needs another tweak, right? And so I think maybe is this going to be the final stage? Who knows? Maybe not. But at least for now, I think we're to that point where we need a change. I think the other games outside of the 4-team playoff have lost a little bit of its luster. And so, yeah, this will revamp things a little bit, give teams a chance to play for, which that's what I also like, too, is that a team's not going to be out of it if you have a early season loss, that it's not going to keep you out of things. So
agreed. I wonder, and I almost would like to see them eliminate the conference championship games because you're putting the kids through one more battle, but it's a big money maker. The Big Ten makes a lot of money off that game, and they split it up with the rest of the teams in the conference. But it's one more week those guys got to put their body on the line. But sometimes you can get you into the tournament or out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, is maybe it's somehow a part of the playoff. But then here's the thing, though. You're going to have in the conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC, you might have more than 2 teams get in. So if it's a play-in game or whatever, if it's part of it, I don't know how you because I don't know. There's going to be several years where you have the 2 teams play in, and then say last year, for example, right? Alabama did not play in the SEC championship, right?
No.
So, but if it was a 12-team playoff, Alabama would be getting in with those 2 teams from the SEC that were playing in the title game. So how do you make it where it's part of it? I don't know.
No, wait. Alabama, I think, did play, got beat by Georgia, and they were they did not make the Final Four. Because they
had 2 losses.
They had 2 losses. They ended up going to the Sugar Bowl, played K-State in the Sugar Bowl. So, yeah, they played Georgia in the SEC. Georgia won, went on. You had the 2 Big Tens. You had Ohio State, Michigan made it, TCU made it, and then Georgia. So Bama got beat. So it was an elimination game for them. If they had beaten Georgia, they'd have gotten in, and Georgia still would have got in too.
But I'm saying, I don't know how you even implement, okay, so that's what I know a lot of coaches are calling for, that Power 5 conference champions should automatically
I'm not with that.
Make it.
Some of these conferences that aren't very good.
Yeah.
So,
but that's
if you go to
part
12,
of the argument.
Maybe you can put them in there if you go to 12. But all the Power 5 should get at least 1 spot.
But that doesn't help the situation that we're talking about the championship games, the conference championship games.
That's true.
But yeah, I agree. What's the point of it at this point? Because a lot of times, if you're talking about, if you get to the Big Ten title game, some of these teams, or any conference championship, some of these teams are playing to get into the playoff. But if there's 12 spots available, it's really probably not even good unless you're a team that's maybe on the fringe. But for some of the teams that's in the driver's seat of the conference championship, it probably, hey, let's not play in this thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
What good does it do? If you're automatically know that you're going to be in, what good does it do to go play in that conference championship game? Other than just to bragging rights of saying we're the conference champion. But if there you got one team that's sitting back at home resting and working and getting extra practices for the playoff, and then you got another team going to play for a title that have to turn right back around and play again.
Right.
So it's going to end up being maybe even detrimental to a team to have to play.
Seems a little unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. That's a couple years away. We're still in the old structure for 2 more seasons of college football, but the changes are coming. And we're only 15 months away from UCLA and USC joining this league. There's been a little bit of talk about those LA schools trying to set up kind of a Midwestern hub for them if for some of their sports, volleyball or the basketball sports, if they're coming for a longer extended road trip, for them to kind of find a hub in the middle of the country to kind of settle in for a week or 2. Maybe they're on a different. And some of those schools in California do the quarters. They don't do semesters. So if they're like in a quarter, instead of flying clear back, they find a hub and occupy some town and work out there until they go play the next games. That seems pretty odd to me, but we'll see if they do it. Isn't that bizarre?
All of it is going to be. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. But
how do they do this with all these other? Football's pretty easy because you're only going to play 5 road games anyway, and it's travel in and out. The other sports are the ones that are going to be affected a lot more by the travel.
Okay, if, say, the Big Ten adds 2 more teams, when do you think that happens? If it happens?
I don't think
if
it
you
happens.
were betting. You don't think it happens?
No, not this year. It won't. I think it could happen in the next 3 years.
So
I think the Pac-12 is falling apart.
yes.
And so the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10 have to kind of pick some guys out of that mix. I would love Oregon, and if we're going to do that and forced to do that, get Oregon and Washington and give the two LA schools somebody kind of close to them to go partner up and play more often. And those are good places to go visit, too. They're pretty cool.
But wouldn't that's another thing that I remember diving into all of this about if you're looking at who adds value, those teams don't actually add value in terms of TV markets.
Not a great deal, but they're fairly popular programs
Right.
around the country where people identify with the Ducks because of those great uniforms, if you like wild uniforms. And Seattle's a pretty big market, so you get that kind of corner of the country. It's not
They're
done.
better than some of the other options.
It is. It's not done. A lot of people think the Pac-12, the next 10 days are big. They've promised their schools they'd have a TV deal by the end of the month of June. What is today, the 21st? Only got about 9 days left for that. All right, need to take a break. Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime, they've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. We're back to talk to a Hall of Famer, Brittany Timko. Terrific soccer player for the Huskers. Went on to play for her country, Canada, in not one but 2 World Cups. We'll talk to Brittany next.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a very big mistake. Hey, Joe, you think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have your underground utilities marked before you start digging?
John, that's just for big projects.
Actually, it's for any digging project. Hey, congratulations, Joe. You found your electric line. Remember, safe digging always begins with a free call to 811. You want to borrow my phone, buddy?
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
FNBO free checking is checking that's actually free. No fees or minimums, and now no overdraft fees. It's ever so personal, with people to help every step of the way. And easy, with a mobile app that allows you to deposit checks and manage your account wherever you are. So make the switch so you can do more with the Great Big Small Bank. Visit fnbo.com to learn more or stop on by. FNBO free checking. It's ever so free. Member FDIC.
It's time again for some Nebraska Farm Facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting student Grant Hansen with Campus News. As worldwide leaders in ag technology, UNL faculty and students innovate using emerging technologies to improve yields and nutrition, and designing wireless in-field networks increasing precision in agriculture. Plus, UNL is breaking ground on a $7.2 million feedlot innovation center near Meade. UNL is doing big things for the future of agriculture.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, the 2023 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support celebrating the 100th year of Memorial Stadium. Purchase a special Husker football Through These Gates mini plan. For only $100, you will be at the Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech games, plus your choice of one home Big Ten game. 3 games for only $100. Tickets available while supplies last. Purchase your Through These Gates mini plan today. For more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
For a delicious dinner on the go that will please the whole family, get Hai Chai at Hy-Vee. Right now, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22 during the month of June. Get 4 one-pint entrees, 2 pints of rice or lo mein, and 8 egg rolls or crab rangoon. That's right, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22, now through the end of June. Dine in or carry out the crowd-pleasing, award-winning Hy-Vee Chinese today. Some restrictions may apply.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Delighted to be joined tonight by another member of the 2023 Husker Hall of Fame class, maybe the greatest soccer player to ever don a Husker uniform, and Brittany Timko, who is with us tonight. Brittany, thank you for spending some time with us, and congratulations. What did this mean when you heard?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's such a huge honor. I mean, there's been so many amazing athletes come through Lincoln and on the soccer team as well. So, yeah, it's a big, big honor to be able to come back and be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Tell me about how you found out.
Well, I was getting my kids ready for school in the morning and got a call from John and Keith, which was, I mean, it's just great to hear from both of them. I hadn't chatted with them for a while, so they gave me the big news. And yeah, it's such an honor and was really special to hear it from both of them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's go back, if you don't mind. We're going to go back through some memory road with you here a little bit. How did you land in Lincoln? And I know there were some Canadians on the roster. Coach Walker had kind of a pipeline going on up to there. Take me back to your recruiting process.
So yeah, at the time, I was fortunate enough to be on the Canadian national team when I was 16. So I already had an idea kind of the Nebraska-Canada soccer pipeline with John being instrumental in that. So I was aware of all the phenomenal players that, you know, were already there with Karina and Amy and Isabel and Christine, so many amazing players. And so when it was time to make a decision, I made my unofficial visits at the time, and Lincoln just felt, you know, like home. When they say there really is no place like Nebraska, it's true. I couldn't really put it into words. It just felt like it was going to be a special place.
Do you stay in touch with some of your former teammates here?
So I do sometimes. I think just because life gets a little bit busy for everyone, not as often as I'd like, but when we do, it's kind of like we haven't, you know, it hasn't been so long, and we just pick right back up. I actually did see Selenia a couple nights ago because she's living in Vancouver where I am as well, and we were roommates and of course teammates there in Lincoln.
Again, visiting with Brittany Timko, who is a 3-time Big 12 Player of the Year for the Husker soccer team, a member of this 2023 Hall of Fame class. They will be enshrined in October at a football home weekend. Brittany, take me back through your playing days. Were there some matches that stand out? Were there some moments that you kind of reflect back on and smile?
I think, you know, whenever we had a home game, it was always special to kind of be able to play for in front of all of our other fellow athletes. Playing in Big 12 tournaments were always a bunch of fun. I remember playing in the NCAA tournament versus Portland, who ended up winning it all. And my Canadian national team teammates, Christine Sinclair, and some others were on that team. And, you know, I just remember being able to kind of host them at home and play the eventual national champions. That was a fun one. But I think more than anything, what stands out is just, you know, having fun and representing the University of Nebraska, and also just John and Marty's guidance throughout my college career. That was always really special. And, you know, I still consider them big mentors. And they were so phenomenal and still continue to be phenomenal in terms of progressing players in the right way as both people and players.
Brittany, you went on to have such an amazing international career above and beyond your Husker career. Went and played for the Canadian national team, some Olympics, some World Cups. How do you gauge the health of the sport right now? I mean, on a fall weekend, I'll drive around Lincoln or Omaha, and there's just hundreds of youth out playing soccer right now. How do you feel like the sport is right now? And you know, you probably won't admit this, but you had an impact, particularly on young girls in this area, to go take up the sport.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see. I mean, even with the upcoming Women's World Cup that's happening in a month, just how much women's soccer has grown collegiately and then internationally. Seeing, you know, the games on TV and being able to go out and watch some of the best players in the world. I think, you know, it's just gotten so much bigger, and I think there's just, you know, it's going to even become bigger as the years go by. And I think you always think if you can see it, you can be it. And for current players, female players, I think, you know, the sky's the limit in terms of opportunities once they graduate college.
Well, I think you'll be blown away when you get back to Lincoln this fall and see Barb Hibner Stadium. It's a beautiful soccer facility for the Husker team now. What do you remember about just being a student athlete, being walking around campus in Lincoln? What memories do you have of that time?
Yeah, I just I'm excited to see the stadium. Well, new to me, new stadium for me. But I just remember the facilities were just phenomenal, and I think those have obviously, you know, there's new facilities there now. But it's just, you know, the University of Nebraska always went above and beyond. So everything from the food to our training facilities, and everybody's just so friendly. So just walking around campus, you always just had, you know, a nice light and bright feeling because everybody had smiles on their faces. It was just a really fun environment to be a part of.
Husker soccer was one of the better programs in the country when you played here. They've had a harder time, I think, getting their footing in the Big Ten Conference, but that may be because other places around the country have come up a little bit. Coach Walker, thoughts about him and your remembrances of playing for Coach Walker here?
Yeah, John is, I mean, I'm so grateful to John. I think, you know, had I not gone to the University of Nebraska, I don't know that I would have had the international career that I had afterwards. I think he was so instrumental in terms of just seeing what was needed in my development. And I always go back to he always cared about me more as a person than as a player. And that obviously affected my development as a player. But I think, you know, what John really adds and values, I think that kind of goes above and beyond than maybe some other programs, is just that he genuinely cares about you as a person.
Brittany, you mentioned you're in Vancouver now. Update people. What are you doing now? What's your life like today?
Yeah, so I'm the technical director of a soccer club here in Port Moody's. So I still get to be around soccer daily. We have from U2, so basically like 18-month-old kids that aren't necessarily kicking the ball, but they're around the ball, all the way up until our over 35 program. So we have kind of players from when they're babies all the way to adults, programs for them. And then my daughter's actually going to be playing soccer in the fall with our club, so that'll be fun to see her as well. But yeah, still involved with soccer, which has been really fun for me.
I mentioned earlier you were on some World Cup teams. We've got that coming up here pretty soon. Are you excited to watch that, or do you push back and not stay in touch with all that?
No, I'm definitely going to be watching. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. So yeah, because they have an interesting group. They have the hosts, Australia, Republic of Ireland, and I think it's Nigeria, or a third country that I'm spacing a little bit, but it's going to be a fun World Cup. They've expanded it. I think, you know, there's there's more teams that are threats now to win it all, and it'll be fun to watch.
I know you won a golden boot. No, I don't think it was in the World Cup. It was a U19 championship or something. Is there actually a boot?
There is actually a boot. Yeah, it's
Really?
still at my house. Yeah, it's. I need to find it one of these days. Oh, I know where it is. I need to bring it out because I think my kids would get a kick out of it. But yeah, it's a gold-plated soccer cleat.
Fantastic. All right, so the ceremony's in the fall. You're going to be able to come back. You can bring the family back with you. What's the plan?
Yeah, so I'm going to come back. I'm going to bring my husband back with me, so I'll be able to kind of walk him around and give him the tour. We'll experience the football game, and hopefully we'll be able to get to some soccer games and volleyball games if they're in town. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to come back to Lincoln.
Well, Brittany, I just missed you. I came to Lincoln in 08. Your last year was just right before that. I think you're going to be amazed at the town. It has really changed a lot, but I know Husker Nation's going to be so glad to see you back in town. I know Coach Walker, the team is going to be so excited to welcome you back. And again, congratulations on this amazing honor and well-deserved for you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on today.
There she is, Brittany Timko, one of the members of the 2023 Hall of Fame class. Man, was she good. Three-time All Big 8 player, the only three-time player in the history of Big 12 soccer, and then went on to help Canada to a fourth-place finish at the World Cup in 2012. One of these sports all-time greats, and we're grateful to be able to claim her as one of our own. She joined us on our Sports Nightly Hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. All right, phone lines, text lines back open, 402-413-2400. Jessica will rejoin me next.
Woodhouse is bringing the entire lineup of General Motors vehicles to you. Visit our two new locations, Woodhouse Chevy and Woodhouse Cadillac in Omaha, off 112th and Dodge. We offer a wide range of cars, trucks, and SUVs with features you actually want in your next vehicle. Plus, experience a simple and streamlined car buying process, no matter which of our 4 General Motors dealerships you choose. Browse our entire selection conveniently online at woodhouse.com.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
For a delicious dinner on the go that will please the whole family, get Hai Chai at Hy-Vee. Right now, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22 during the month of June. Get 4 one-pint entrees, 2 pints of rice or lo mein, and 8 egg rolls or crab rangoon. That's right, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22, now through the end of June. Dine in or carry out the crowd-pleasing, award-winning Hy-Vee Chinese today. Some restrictions may apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corbin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Nouili Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Nouili Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit NouiliCompanies.com. Go Big Red. Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. 402-413-2400. Thanks to Brittany Timko. So much fun to talk to her. If people like soccer, they probably were geeking out when we were talking about the Golden Boot, because these big international tournaments, the top player, the top scorer in that tournament gets a Golden Boot. So I asked her, I go, do you have one? She said, oh, yeah, it's a golden sneaker or golden spike that you would wear. It's a cool little trophy. You know who would like that? Andrew would have loved that little
Andrew
talk.
definitely would have, yes.
So she'll be back in October.
And don't you get like a golden glove or something? Like, doesn't the goalie get something too?
Yeah, it is. Well, I can't think what it's called. Cole can do some research for us. But, yeah, the World Cup top goalie gets something, too. So
you know, that is a sport I never played. Never. I have not played 1 minute of soccer.
So big. You drive around Lincoln or Omaha on a weekend in the fall or even in the spring, and the fields are just packed with kids.
No, it's obviously huge here. Look at the roster of the Nebraska women's soccer team.
Yeah.
15 of the 29 are from Nebraska.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I personally never played that sport.
For some reason, I just don't know that it's really, I mean, Kansas City, it's huge. St. Louis, it's gigantic. I mean, it's just, I don't know, maybe down in Oklahoma and Texas, it's not quite as big. Good to have her, that they're going to do that for the Purdue football game. They'll all be back. That's homecoming weekend, really late homecoming. That's like the last Saturday of October is homecoming this year. But they'll all be back. They'll have a ceremony, I'm guessing, right out here off of our studio, which is where the Hall of Fame walk is. I think that's where they did it last year, didn't they? Or did they do it over here in East Stadium? They had the ceremony somewhere over here.
They had the ceremony right out here, right outside our our studio.
Yeah, you took part in that, didn't you?
Yeah,
last
I
year.
did.
So it'll be great to have Brittany back. Last week we talked to Lori Endicott, Tommy Frazier, Gary Pepin. We still have to talk to the wrestler and the gymnast. Emily Parsons was the gymnast, terrific gymnast, and so we'll get to them. We're working our way through them in the next couple weeks.
You know, going back to the soccer conversation, that a lot of coaches, a lot of athletes say that that's kind of the best sport to enroll young kids in to get started, to get footwork and all of that. That
conditioning.
It's an excellent starter sport to kind of get a feel.
It's the easiest one to learn. See ball, go after ball, kick ball. And it's for 5-6-year-old kids, it's really easy for them to do.
It does seem like probably one of the more popular young little tykes. Like,
right.
Because not many 3-year-olds can do much gymnastics
it's hard to learn.
and
Right.
soccer, right? Or
Baseball
the
and
ones.
softball are hard to learn. There's a lot of rules, a lot of intricacies to those two sports. But soccer, see-ball, kickball.
I feel like you have to be like 4 or 5 to play t-ball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mark says you guys were talking about adding 2 more schools. Cal and Stanford are a better pair. I know they aren't as sexy and exciting as Oregon and Washington, but add the San Francisco area, which would be a bigger TV market. And academically, yeah, that's true. I mean, academically, the Big Ten likes to kind of feel like they're the second cousin to the Ivy League, and so Cal and Stanford would fit that mold. Stanford's got a great athletic department. They're good at about everything.
They every year win the Directors Cup.
They do.
To me, I would say Stanford and Oregon.
Okay.
If we're going that way,
Yeah.
I would lose Cal, and you said Washington. Yeah, I would get Oregon and Stanford.
Okay. I mean, Mark's not wrong. Academics is part of the thought process, I think, with the Big Ten chancellors and presidents. And Stanford's it's the Harvard of the West. And like you just said, they win the Directors Cup. I think they've already won it again this year. They're just good at a lot of things. They were in Omaha. They were in Oklahoma City. Their tracks teams are okay. They're great in swimming. Volleyball's really
Women's
good.
basketball. Yeah.
They're good at a lot of things.
I don't know. Maybe you could make a case they're just not very good, but one of the Arizona schools. But are they tied together?
They're not. In fact, the Big 12's, I think, in deep conversations with Arizona, not Arizona State. So
It's not like that would add much, but you get a different market entirely.
good basketball school for the Big 12.
True.
Big 12 likes that hoops. So be interesting to see where they go. And I don't think we're done. I think there still could be some realignment this summer. I don't think it involves the Big 10. I think the Big 12's the one trying to go add some schools.
But then, if that's the case, then the Pac-12 is going to be scrambling. So, we all talked about what's the Big 12 going to do. They found a way to keep it together.
They're going to be good.
But Pac-12 is then going to be in scramble mode to try to keep it together.
Sure is.
The other key piece is Notre Dame, So
Right.
that's the big, you don't get, if you are only getting 2, then you have a chance to get Notre Dame, then you get Notre Dame and somebody else.
They love their independence.
Oh, yeah. They do.
Don't know if they'll
but
do
at
that
some
or
point, are they going to have to? Is it going to force their hand?
Crypto's half with you and half with me. He says Stanford and Washington would be the 2 that he would get. And with the Washington, you get the Seattle market. That's a pretty big TV market. And where Oregon, there's not a big TV market in that state. But Oregon's got probably a better brand nationally.
Yeah.
Don't you think? With Nike and all that?
And I think better competition, too.
I think so, too.
All around.
Yeah, I think so, too. It's not over. It's still in the weeds, and it's still the shuffling's still going on and still happening. And so we'll follow that.
Cole, who do you got? We've all given our picks.
That's a good question. I think I like the idea of Washington and Oregon because it keeps it north, but after we added USC and UCLA, that kind of went out the window. So I don't know. All good picks, I think.
They are, they're on the same coast, but it's a long ways from L.A. to Seattle. That's like going from Dallas to Minneapolis.
Probably not that much further to go from Lincoln or Nebraska to L.A., right?
No, it's not that far. Those are going to be long flights when those start happening. But again,
I just flew that flight. It's not that bad.
No, it's not. And really, is it much different having an hour-and-a-half flight to a 2.5-hour flight? I mean, whatever. Take a nap.
I mean, there are just as long of flights right now.
And a lot of our sports charter. Is it that?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really? I don't know. Is it really that big a deal? I don't know.
I don't think it is for football at all. Maybe some of the other sports.
But basketball, they charter. I mean, they're zipping in and out. I mean, I don't know.
I guess some of the other sports that maybe play midweek games and
the travel for them is going to be awful for the California schools. I mean, they're going to fly the closest one to us. How about when they play Rutgers and Maryland and Penn State? Yeah. Those are long.
Because remember, I did that math. It was like closer to fly to like some country. It's going to be closer for Rutgers to fly to. There's a country right off the coast over there. Not Iceland. Greenland, right? Than it is to fly to L.A.
Well, even to Ireland. If you're on the East Coast getting to Ireland, it wasn't bad for us. That wasn't a bad flight going
From New York to wherever, there's some country that's right there over that sea.
Ireland.
That ocean.
Ireland's one of the closest ones
Maybe
over there.
it is Ireland,
Well, think
but
about it.
it's closer to fly over there than it is to California.
How long was our flight from Lincoln or Omaha?
Well,
6
when
hours?
you had the tailwind one way
6 hours.
from Chicago, we flew out of Chicago, right? No,
we flew
out
from
of
Omaha.
Omaha. Then it was 8 hours, and it was 10 hours on the way back, I think.
Okay, so you take off 2-3 hours if you flew from New York, so you're down to 6, which is about like flying from LA to New York.
Yeah.
Wow. You put it in that perspective, and crazy stuff. Folks, buckle up. Put that phone down. This is good advice for you. Reminder from the NDOT Highway. What's the deal? The whole studio's cracking up here.
Cole just started laughing. He got tickled back there, and then
He's had a long
I'm one of those
day.
people. I am one of those people that if somebody laughs beside me, I can't not laugh.
He's had a long day.
I'm-
He's punch drunk over there.
A little bit, I guess.
By the way, it's brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office. 402, rescue me, people. 402-413. I'm trying to hold it together. 2400. We're back to wrap it up next.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting student Ann Gallagher with Campus News. UNL is the only Big Ten university in Nebraska, part of the only conference with an academic alliance. Being in the Big Ten means superior academics, unique student opportunities, better resources, and world-class research programs. With 72% of undergraduate students receiving scholarships or financial aid, UNL offers a Big Ten education at great value.
For a delicious dinner on the go that will please the whole family, get Hai Chai at Hy-Vee. Right now, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22 during the month of June. Get 4 one-pint entrees, 2 pints of rice or lo mein, and 8 egg rolls or crab rangoon. That's right, get a Hy-Vee Chinese dinner for 4, just $22, now through the end of June. Dine in or carry out the crowd-pleasing, award-winning Hy-Vee Chinese today. Some restrictions may apply.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime, they've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody, back with you. Final few minutes of our show here on a Wednesday night. Tomorrow night, we are going to hear about some Husker student athletes that just completed a mission trip to Panama. They've been back a couple of weeks, but we're going to hear their story, their amazing story, and what kind of what kind of things they saw, did while they were down there representing Husker Athletics and helping out a community down in Panama. So looking forward to that tomorrow night. And you're going to continue your series of reports on new athletes coming into the program tomorrow night, focusing on women's basketball.
Yes, got Natalie Potts coming in. So we are trying to introduce you to all those new Huskers from men's and women's basketball. We had to pause men's basketball this week. We had a lot going on with softball, but we'll get back to that hopefully next week. And then I'm also starting the series now that they're back and have been in town with volleyball freshmen. So
they've been gone. They just got back from Brazil.
Yep. So getting those lined up as well. So we'll have all of those still ahead in the next few weeks. So not really consistent, I guess, on the days that we're doing it, but hey, it's coming. Just know that we're going to introduce you to all those.
Working our way through that group. Now, you know, the school year's over. The 22-23 seasons now are done. Track and field's the last thing that gets wrapped up. So tomorrow night, we're going to have some fun. Jessica and I are going to put together our list of the top 5 male athletes for the Huskers this past year and the top 5 female athletes for the Huskers this last year. This will be fun. We can throw these names out there and kind of reminisce about what kind of year all these great student athletes had.
Yes, and I will be interested to see what our list, how they compare.
We'll cross over some.
There's a lot to choose from.
Sure are. So, you know, wasn't the greatest year in a lot of things. We did have a couple of national champions in track and in rifle, and so we had a couple of those things. You had a Big Ten men's championship in track and field at the outdoor meet in Bloomington in May. Those were kind of some of the high points for the year.
Yeah. There's and then there's some really outstanding individual performances as well.
Some great wrestling matches that took place this past year, and so yeah, lots to choose from for the Huskers. We'll have some fun with that tomorrow night on the program as well. Everyone's concerned in the chat room about Cole. Is he being tickled? Is somebody messing with him back there? He's fine. He's okay.
Yes, he just so every now and again you can get him with a one-liner, and if you catch him off guard,
Yeah.
you can hear him chuckling back there.
He told me today he's accumulating his jokes.
I thought we were starting that.
Well, I think we need to wait till we're back kind of in more of a normal routine.
Oh.
He's ready, though.
I am ready. I have a couple loaded.
I feel like we should start it next week.
Sounds good to me.
All right, he's ready. He says he's got a handful ready to roll.
Wait, what day did we say we were going to do it on? Did we have a day?
We didn't pick a day.
We didn't. I'm flexible.
Okay. All right. So if you have some thoughts, if you have thoughts for jokes, yeah, you can fire those to us. But if you've got your picks for male and female athletes of the year for the Cornhuskers, send us those. We'll dive into that. You know, they have the night at the lead. To me, and it's no fault of anybody. They have to do it when they do it. But it's unfair to the spring sports because they're like only halfway through their seasons when we have to kind of pick some of the winners of those things. And they do allow us to go back the previous spring and pick what they do. But I think the way we're going to do it tomorrow night, it's better that they're all done.
Yes, yeah. It's really challenging because you can't get everybody together in May. You know, everybody's gone, season's over, or all the classes are over, graduation's happened, and so it is a challenge. But yeah, I think we're going to have a pretty good time. There's lots to choose from.
I'm working my list up.
I am too.
So we'll have some fun with that tomorrow night. I can't wait for everybody to hear about this Panama trip. A couple of student athletes, a bunch of them went. We're going to get a couple of them that were part of the trip, and I think they had a wonderful time down in Panama. And you come home feeling good about yourself. Bigger, you realize it's bigger than just the sport you're playing in currently.
And it's the great thing about life skills, giving them that opportunity to do just that.
Good stuff. A lot of pull for Joke Monday from Cole. So I don't know. Maybe we can go with Mondays, I guess. So we'll get that all figured out. Great show tonight. Thanks to Cole. We kept him alive for the show. Back tomorrow night. Full 2 hours headed your way.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more.